Hello guys, welcome to the room here on TryHackMe. We're going to do the one called Linux Fundamentals Part 1 right now. So a few of you guys asked me to do this room and I think I'm going to do it now. But instead of just doing the room it is really easy, I rather want to talk about some of the commands that we learn in this room. So if you watch my video, go ahead and do this afterwards. It should be pretty easy peasy for you. So in order for me to zoom and give you a broader view, I opened up my own Linux Kali instance installed on my virtual machine on my PC that I'm sitting on. So it's a private version running. I'm not using the attack machine or anything because it's kind of slow. So I'm thinking that you never really been using Linux before. You maybe try to access a folder using the cd command and then writing some sort of folder name. You maybe try to create a folder using the mk for make, dir for make directory, and you maybe try the ls command to list the content of your current working directory. So I wouldn't expect you watching the video that you know anything about Linux file system or the commands or how the stuff works. So what I really want to teach you today is some of the basic things in Linux that you really need to know in order to do any kind of task on Linux really. So it doesn't really matter if you're trying to hack something or just trying to use the Linux operating system. You need to know these different commands and to know them by heart. So I just want to emphasize that it's very important that you take this video very serious, because it is the most important skills you can do and have and acquire to know basic Linux commands. We're gonna stay 100% in the terminal right here, and the very first command I'm going to teach you is one called id. id is going to show you the different kind of groups you're in, also going to show you who you are in a way. Now this can be a bit intimidating to watch the very first time, so the more easier one to write is who am I. And who am I is going to show you exactly that you are the Kali user. Now you can also see that by the name here, the left part of the name after there's a small K inside the circle for Kali. So by looking at different kind of groups you're in, you can see that for example you're in the group called Appending, for example, which might give you access to something. In this particular example, I'm not really going to dive into groups or anything, but the one called UID, the user ID, and the GID is called the group ID. That's the most two important things to note whenever you write ID. Now sometimes you do see other things here, and usually when you are hacking something on TryHackMe, you're not going to see this long a line. You might see like this part here, and then maybe you see 2, 3, 4 more of them. Sometimes one of these is going to mention the word root. If that happens, well then you are really happy. But I'm not going to spoil that for now. I'm going to leave it as it is. So checking your own ID and who you are logged in as is ID and who am I. So also, if you want to clear the screen, just write clear, really like that, spell it correctly of course. Just go ahead and create a directory, so mkdir, and we call it Linux Fundamentals. I'm going to go inside that directory, so cd for opening and going inside the directory. Now you saw me type really fast. Now I know that on my system I only have one folder called Linux Fundamentals. If so, you had different kind of ones, you would get a part of the name. So if I write L and just press tab on my keyboard, the tab button, then the system will suggest on the current working directory that I'm on, either I mean Linux Fundamentals folder or I mean the LX, the Alpine builder. Now I'm just gonna enter the letter I because I can see the next one is I, and that is not I, and then I'm gonna tab again, and it's gonna auto complete and press enter. So you can see that we are on our home folder. So if you go ahead and write pwd, it is the current working directory, you can see that we're in our home folder, the home and the user Kaylee, which is us / Linux fundamentals folder. We're inside that folder. That's a really good way to learn where you are standing and what is your current working directory. Now, if you just want to casually create a file that is empty, go ahead and type touch, and you can just type anything. We can call it test for now. That file test is then created. Now, to view the content of the Linux fundamentals folder, just write ls, and you can see that it's going to be listed as that. It might be a bit bare, so ls tag al to see all the details of the directory, also see what's up and what's down. Sorry, what's one behind and what is the current directory. So the dot is the current directory, and that would be like /, and you can tab and only one file, so it's auto completing right there. Now // I'm going to tab, and you can see all the different kind of options I have if I went one back from my current working directory. Let's go and right clear again and do ls tag al. We see the file here called test, and the file was created now, just a few minutes ago, like 1 minute ago. It is the 12th of November, and it doesn't have any size, so it's 0 bytes, which is true. The group is Kaylee. As you can see, if I write ID, we are in the Kaylee group, so that is the group you're gonna see. So anyone in that group can read it. Now I'm gonna get back to this line here in a second. The user is the if you're gonna see it from the right side and read it from the right side, then this is the first position, that is the second position. Now if you're gonna read this from the other side, of course it will be the first and the second, but please don't think too much about it. This one here, the second position, is also Kaylee because we are the user Kaylee. Now I know it's gonna be confusing a bit, but you will get it really fast, I'm sure of that. It basically means that I am the owner, I created the file. Now, if you look at this here, that is a system rights to the file. So you can see that the very first one is a dash, which basically means this is a file. And the next three here, it can be R, it can be W, and it can be X. X, as you can see here, is for execute. So you can execute a file if it's given the executable flag. Now this is just a file. You don't really execute a file that is empty. It doesn't have any script inside of it or anything. It needs to run on runtime. So of course a bare empty file doesn't have the executional flag set. Now it can be read and written to by the user. So the very first three here is for the user, the owner, or the creator of the file. It's called Kaylee, me. The next three here is for the group, so anyone in the group can read the file, but they cannot write to it. Now, and the last one is anyone, so anyone can read it. Now, if you wanted, this file to be only accessible by us, me, but not anyone else, we accept that anyone in the group of Kaylee can read it. Then we can go ahead and change the access right by using the chmod, which is change modifier or change modification, whatever you call it. You can go ahead and say that you could say 600 and type test and do ls tag al. I'm going to explain this really fast. So this, first of all, as you can see, now it's just a dotted line. It's not a dotted line, but it's just a solid line. Now we removed the read for the group and the read for everyone. We kept the read and the write for Kaylee. So we can still read and write to it. But we wanted to keep the read for the group. So what we essentially could do is go ahead and replace, as you can see, there are three numbers. The first number, is going to represent the very first right here. So the very first row, that's going to give 6. Read write is 6. If we want to write 7, that would be read write execute. Now let's go ahead and try that. So if we got like 700 and we went ls tag al one more time, then you can see that it is read, write, execute now. But as we also talked about, there's no need to execute a file that contains nothing. And you also notice that it got highlighted by that bit more, what you gonna call it, a bit more light green color before it was a normal green color. Let's go ahead and let me just clear the screen, and let's go ahead and write 300. 300 is gonna make us only write and execute to it. You can also go ahead and try something like 400 and do a new one, and the 400 is gonna let us write to it directly. So from this test, what do you think we need to write to make it read, write, and read only for the group and nothing for everyone? So I'm going to repeat this. Read, write for the user Kaylee, read for the group members of Kaylee, and nothing for everyone. So you probably thought about it a few times. 640. As you can see now, 640 result in what we talked about. Read, write for the user, and read for the group of Kaylee, and nothing for everyone else. Basically means if we switch to another user, we would be seeing a operating system telling us we cannot read or write to this file because we have no rights to it. Okay, so let's put something inside of it. So what we can do, we can open a text editor, or we can use the command prompt. Let's go ahead and use the command prompt for now. What you can do is you can go ahead and use the command called echo. Echo, and then you do stuff like, let's say hello, press enter. It will enter the word hello to the console. If we did echo and then a citation and hello world, this is a test, and then we use the larger than, or depending on how you look at it, lower than, but that is the as you okay, let me say it another way. This sign here, it gaps over this part, so it says like I'm gonna eat this, and it's gonna go the other way out of me. So everything is gonna go inside the word in the file, inside the file test. So we're gonna echo all of this into the file test. Now we're not gonna see it in the screen anymore because we are directing to the file of test. If we go ahead and write ls tag al now, we can see the file of test is now 27 bytes long. You can go ahead and count this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, yeah, up to around 27. That's going to be the amount of bytes. If we now want to, let's say, output all the text inside this file, we go ahead and write cat tests. Cat is a command that's gonna take all the text inside the file and put it to the screen. Now this can be quite powerful, but if this file said like a lot of bytes, don't do it because it's gonna spam your screen. That's not gonna work out for you. If you for some reason want to find a specific word inside the text file, let's assume that this text file contains 1 megabyte of text, which is 1,000,000 letters, right? Around that. Then you might want to find, you know, a specific word. In this particular case, let's say the word is world. Now then what you're going to do is cat out the file. If you press enter now, you will see this line right here. Now the beauty of Linux is that you can make a pipe, and the pipe is a solid vertical line which is created by using the Alt-GR key and pressing the key on the keyboard that is left to your backspace on the keyboard. It's a normal layout keyboard, right? If you're using like a Mac or something, I'm gonna be honest, the Mac keyboard is a little crappy for these kind of things because you require more different kind of, you know, if you're on a Mac keyboard, you have to look it up. You know, I'm just talking about my normal standard keyboard here. So what you can do now is you say you're gonna cat it out, and the pipe is basically going in and say, what do you want to do with that? Now I want to use a command called grep. The grep command is a really beautiful command because it can search in the output of cat. So think about it this way: cat is going to take all the output, all the text from test, all the data from the test file, which is texts, as you can see. It just sounds similar test, so I'm just going to say data for now. So all the data that it's being outputted by the cat from the test file, we will tell with the pipe command, I'm going to grep for a word called world. I'll press enter. As you can see now, it's going to output that and highlight it by red, which is really good because then we can see we found what we were looking for. Now, if we're going to go back to this particular challenge here, you will go through different kind of things that you're not going to use to answer the particular questions, but you will learn about different kind of commands that I haven't been talking about. Please go ahead and do those. That's really good. Finding stuff like find name and the password. The text gonna find files with that name. If you're gonna do stuff like that, I'm just clear like find tag name, write the word password. If that is a generic word, didn't find anything. Well, pass test. There was a file called test right there. So if you're not really giving it anything, it's gonna look in the folder you're in. But if you're giving it a slash and writing test, as you can see now, it's gonna spam your screen because you're gonna give it a path to run from. Now, as I told you, it's very important to pay attention to commands in a Linux prompt because one command can really spam you a lot. So really wanna emphasize that. Where did my command prompt go? Very interesting. It just disappeared. It's there. Oh wow. So I just want to emphasize that it is so important that you pay attention to what you write and never rely on a cheat sheet too much, because cheat sheets are not gonna teach you anything. They're gonna teach you how to, there we have it, copy paste. And copy pasting is not something you're gonna learn. It's just pressing 3 buttons and hoping for your best. Learn your commands by heart and you can use them and you will be really good. So I trust that you can now complete this video here. And actually there's one more command that I would like to show you, just to make sure. Now you have the file called test, and let's assume you want to add something extra, so you're gonna add something extra, and we learned that we can do something like that. So if you do that and cat out text, you will see that everything inside of it is gone. So what we could essentially do is say like add the old text back, clear screen for visibility. Then we can say echo something extra, and instead of 1 I'm gonna make 2. Now if you make 2, it says direct all this to the file and keep the old content. So cat out text and you will see you will see the new content and the other part on a new line. So this is my Linux fundamental video. I really hope you learned something, and let me know in the comment below if you want to see more of these kind of videos, and I'm gonna create some more, and hope that you will watch it all and learn something and you can take it with you. And I promise that it's gonna be a new video. If I see some comments about please make another one with some extra stuff and commands, I'm gonna create another video and post it on YouTube really fast. See you again online. Bye.